What's up everyone, it's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and today is November 11th. November 11th will go down in history for most people as the day Donald Trump won the American election. Now, personally, that's not how November 11th goes down for me. And any gamer out there who's been a gamer for at least 12 years now should know that November 11th will be historically burned in our minds for a different reason. And that reason is that Halo 2 released on November 11th, 2004, 12 years ago today. So, Halo 2 was the much anticipated sequel to, well, Halo Combat Evolved, a first party launch title for the original Xbox, and it was highly anticipated. For the simple reason is Halo 1, Halo Combat Evolved, was revolutionary at the time, and naturally Halo 2 was going to be bigger and better in every way they promised. It also, unfortunately, marks the last full official entry of Halo on the PC, which is a shame. Hopefully that's going to change with Halo 6 or something along those lines. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, taking all that into consideration, Halo 2, an amazing game by the way, fantastic game, has the kind of campaign you'd expect. If you played Halo Combat Evolved, what you got from that game, the style, the gameplay, the story, the setting, the pacing, you knew where Halo 2 was going to improve. It wasn't just going to improve on bad stuff, because let's face it, there was arguably very little bad stuff about Halo, but you look at Halo 2, and that's where it really took off. Halo 2 was it seemed to be, at least by the gauge of what you can tell from, the internet and all the, we'll call it official reviews and things like that too, Halo 2 seems to be the preferred Halo of most people. Personally, I prefer, as I said, Halo Combat Evolved as my favorite Halo game, but Halo 2 is the big one for most people. So much so that when Microsoft re-released the entire Master Chief Collection, including Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 2 Anniversary, Halo 3, and Halo 4, they actually remade and remastered Halo 2 and called it Halo 2 Anniversary and included it on the Xbox One in the Master Chief Collection pack. So that's how much they wanted to do that for the 10th anniversary of Halo 2. So you can see they want their big main franchise looking as pretty as possible in a big, great value collection. But another good thing about Halo, and Halo 2 specifically, is it's one of the earlier games that has what we can only term TV and movie actors. Back then, it wasn't too often you would actually get them to do that. Microsoft, understandably, have basically infinite money, so they could hire people like that. Now, one thing is, they didn't really market it in that way. They didn't say, hey look, come play our game. Come play the sequel. It's going to be bigger, it's going to be better, and it's going to have famous voice actors as well. So where all that actually fits in is naturally, as a continuation, you've got Steve Downes, Master Chief himself, Jen Taylor reprising Cortana, our little blue buddy. You've got the likes of Michelle Rodriguez, Ron Perlman. I mean, that's a big deal. And Julie Benz. So that's a pretty decent cast for TV and TV voice and movie actors for that point in time, for 2004, because let's face it, that was way before the extreme rise in popularity of voice actors and their following and all. I'm a big follower of a lot of them, a big fan of a lot of them too, so I'm not trying to put it out negatively towards them. But let's face it, Halo 2 was not perfect. The marketing was brilliant. The campaign, half it was damn good. The gameplay, a lot of it improved. There was a couple of issues. We all missed the assault rifle, for example. But one of the big glaring issues to this day still remains the fact that it was kept almost completely silent that about half the game would be spent as the Arbiter. That's another one to mention, actually. Keith David as the Arbiter. That's pretty insane within itself. But Yeah, they never mentioned that, or they very rarely did. And the fact it was so jarring for some people, and most people wanted to control Chief the entire time, myself included, but the Arbiter and Keith David just did a badass example, or badass job, I should say. But unfortunately, the Arbiter levels do suffer quality-wise versus the Chief levels. There's no denying it. It's just, I'm not sure if it was done intentionally, but it's just the way it worked out at the end of the day. So, while there is a severe amount of quality in there, there are one or two little issues, including the fact that as we mentioned earlier, is the last time that a Halo game officially graced a PC platform. But let's work on changing that, eh, Phil? Yeah, you know it. So it's good to see that 12 years on, this game is still amazing. I also personally credit this Halo 2 back in the day as being revolutionary in some ways. Now, most people may or may not agree with this, but Halo 2 basically revolutionized online gaming on console. There was online gaming on console beforehand. The Dreamcast had it. The GameCube had it, albeit a port of the Dreamcast one usually. That was the main things. There was also the PS2. The PS2 had internet, very, very patchy on all these consoles. And Xbox Live naturally existed for about 2 years before Halo 2 actually released. And sure, there were people online playing. I know personally, I joined to play Rainbow Six Siege when that first launched. That was about a year before... No, actually about a year and a half before the release of Halo 2. And yeah, there was a good few people playing online on there as well. But when Halo 2 came out, it took the world by storm. There were people who liked first-person shooters buying Xboxes just to play Halo 2 online. It basically revolutionized console online gaming multiplayer. Obviously in the first-person sector because it's a first-person game, but because of the influence it had, coupled with the abilities of Xbox Live at the time, it basically laid the foundation for what we now know as the unfortunate joke that is the PSN, and still the quality we have today on Xbox Live, both on the console level platforms. PC not included, that's a whole other story. But like I said, that was always multiplayer surviving pretty perfectly on the PC. There was no issues with that really. But console multiplayer had not taken off until Halo 2. So personally, I credit Halo 2 being one of the big breakthroughs, the first big breakthrough for online console multiplayer. And look where that's got us ever since. 12 years later, we'd be lost without the PSN and the Xbox Live of today. So we can all accredit it to that. So let's leave it there. Let me know in the comment section below your experience with Halo 2. Do you remember? I know personally, I finished Halo 2 in one sitting. It took me 9 hours. The very first time I started at exactly midnight back in the day. And I finished it at like 8:54 that morning because I stayed up playing it all night. So there's a fun little extra Halo 2 story. So let me know in the comment section below anyway your experience with Halo 2, what you credit it for, if you've got any cool little stories for it, if you think the game is a joke, if you love it, whatever. Do you think I'm overhyping it in the sense of what it did for online multiplayer on consoles? Or do you hope to see it on PC at some point? I know PC again, in a more modernized version at some point. I know I do. We'll see how the rest of the anniversary goes. Bungie, Jen Taylor, Steve Downs, all of you guys, thank you so much for such an amazing time. Anyway, guys, let me know all that in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter. Details in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the rest of the videos in my channel. Maybe in another 12 years for the 24th anniversary of Halo 2.